With the rise of mascots in gaming, Sly came onto the scene and gave an everlasting memory to many. But was everything as perfect as we remember? I'm Saggy, and I'll be going over the worst parts of Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. As you play through each level, you'll be given the opportunity to get one of the game's collectibles, the Clue Bottle, and once you have all of them in a level, you can unlock the stage's vault. Within them are where most of the abilities of this game reside, and some are very clearly better than others. For instance, there's a mine ability where Sly can place his hat down and blow it up, which would be great if you didn't have to wait to place it and wait to activate it. Why would you use this over, say, the dive ability? You hardly wait for enemies to pass a specific point in this game to begin with. There's a slow motion power up that, slows down time, but only while you're in the air until you get the upgrade. Same for the invisibility, which doesn't even allow you to move until you get the upgrade. I neglected to mention the main abilities acquired through the story, like the Spire Jump, due to them being essential to complete the game, and I feel as though comparing the vault powers to these would be unfair. In this entry, Sly is the focal point in regards to the story and gameplay, which I suppose is to be expected, but he also has a team. However, unlike the thieving rodent, playing as them leaves a lot to be desired. Their playstyle is connected to the lore, which is good for showing what they contribute to for the most part. Murray is a good driver, so you race as him. And Bentley is the tech specialist, which means you play hacking simulations. These aren't exactly bad, but they feel like they were additions made near the end of development. Hell, Bentley gets a single segment of gameplay and it's at the literal end of the game. They couldn't have added a single extra level where Bentley has to hack something. Imagine instead of shooting out a path for Murray, Sly has to ride atop a van and spire jump between vehicles to defeat enemies. Of course, this is rectified in future titles. It's definitely the weakest here though. I almost put Bentley and Murray in this category of minigames, but I wanted to make a distinction between playing as Sly versus his teammates. Similar to the gameplay of his comrades, Cooper also gets these bite-sized segments that contrast the main style of play for the game. He does get more to work with than Murray, but more doesn't always mean better. Damn near every single one of them is some variation of a shooting gallery, with differing levels of enjoyability. I wouldn't say they get difficult at any time, but they can be annoying, especially with how bullshit the RNG can be at sometimes. These levels also don't fit into the natural flow of the story either, which makes them feel more like padding or bonus content. I appreciate the diversification of gameplay on display, but the energy for the execution could have been put towards other aspects of the game. The narrative setup by the prologue is neat, quickly establishing a motive for the gang, and as it progresses, we get to learn more about the antagonist that jumped Daddy Cooper. Everyone on display is given context as to what led them to crime, except for one individual. Enter Clockwork. Really, the only thing we know about the mechanical owl is that he appears in every Thievius Raccoonus page, stalking every Cooper that came before Sly. He lets you know that the Coopers have always thwarted his plans, but what plans? This big ass bird is indeed a master thief like the others, but we don't really get a backstory or any info of his heist, and his motive is petty at best. He orchestrated the plan to invade the Cooper household, told to us in the beginning, and left Sly alive to show the family line is nothing without the book. And that's it. What did the Coopers do to him? What did Sly's father do to him? Even in Sly 4, we get a backstory for the main baddie that involves his dad. The Phoenix Five are an interesting band of misfits, and it sucks that we don't get more on Clockwork, but I digress. But what do you think? Maybe you wanted more out of the platforming than jumping and hitting the circle button. Maybe you wish you could have played mini games that were evolved around villains a la Rayman 3. Let me know below. Like, subscribe, and share. I'm Saggy, and I'm also out.